Gather round, friends and strangers alike, as we journey into a world beyond our own. Close your eyes, open your minds, and dare to dream. You are entering the Mysterious Imperius DreamStream with your hosts, Ghost Hunter Dave, Troy to the Max Extreme, and Dinosaur Neil. Tonight, we continue our expedition with Volume 2 of Neil Gaiman's Sandman series, The Dollhouse. In this tale, Morpheus searches for 3 escaped dreams loose amongst the waking world, while young Rose Walker embarks on a quest of her own to find her missing brother. Could their paths converge through serendipitous coincidence, or have their fates already entwined? Journey with us and find out, but along the way, be wary of strangers in sunglasses, and perhaps think twice about where you decide to rest your eyes.
Hey, welcome everyone to the second Imperius DreamStream, where we're covering Neil Gaiman's Sandman Volume 2, Dollhouse.
The Doll's House.
Yes.
Apostrophe S, Troy.
My mistake.
It's alright. It's alright. We're all a couple beers in, and it's going to go smoother than last time.
Yeah.
You see, when we do these big live streams, I tend to get very, it has to be perfect. But you know what? It's never perfect. You just gotta do it.
Yeah.
And no matter how perfect we try to set it up, it still comes down to us scrambling 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds before we push live. Not sure if it's going to work or not, so we're just going to embrace the chaos of it and just go with it, because it's just going to be more fun that way.
That's right. Just throw it off.
That's right.
And with that...
Oh, you're setting the timer.
We're setting the timer.
I can't wait until we're done with this whole series and we have to eat that sand.
Yeah, that was in the stipulation.
Unfortunately, that's what we had to do.
That's what we all agreed to. So before we kick it off officially, another big thanks to the 4th member of Imperius Rex, the man behind the scenes, Paul K. here, doing the Lord's work, keeping us live. Hey, Paul.
Got some merch today.
Always representing. You know what? If enough people on the chat are interested, maybe we'll give away one of those Dave and Neil's Tree Service shirts. One of the biggest ongoing inside jokes of the Imperius Rex mythology there.
That's right. Yep.
We'll cut your trees down, then we'll fuck them. Paul, you know that's what that shirt represents?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Might do it the other way around, too. Who knows?
Who knows? So, as people are coming in, we'll just kind of kick it off here. Everyone having a good week?
Yeah.
Got my notes here.
Sandman's having a good week, too.
He's having a great
Oh,
time.
boy, is he? And he ain't having no buffoonery happen in his jurisdiction. I tell you what.
That's right. Did we introduce ourselves?
I don't know.
Well, they know who we are. Right up top, just yesterday, Netflix announced some more cast for the upcoming Sandman adaptation.
Yeah.
And I have to say, looks pretty interesting.
Looks pretty interesting.
So, Paul, if you can show us the first slide. This is the... Nope, get there. There we go. Nope, other one. Other one. Too soon. Too soon. Embrace the chaos. Okay.
Yeah. Here was the initial cast list that was dropped
a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the main lineup here. We have Tom Sturridge as Dream. Don't know the guy, but he has that Morpheus look to him.
He's got the look, for sure.
Yeah.
Gwendolyn Christie is Lucifer,
which
which doesn't play a huge role, but, she's a big bankable actress right now, so it's a good get. Let's see. Vivian.
Good luck.
Vivian is Lucian. That's a gender swap of Morpheus's kind of right-hand man there, which is fine.
Yeah.
Charles Dance is Roderick Burgess. Perfect casting.
Yeah.
And Boyd Holbrook is a Corinthian, who
Love
I
that.
really enjoy that
like
casting.
Yeah.
You get the Corinthian in this one. Then we have Cain and Abel there, which look like perfect casting. They've got the Middle Eastern look, too, which, if we're going biblically, that is right on.
Yep.
And then, Paul, let's switch to the next one, which is what just dropped yesterday. A whole lineup of folks. a lot of them from this very trade that we're going to be discussing here. We've got Rose Walker, we've got Desire, Despair, all these characters, and they've got the cast list along with their pronouns, which is pretty progressive. I don't know if I've seen this before in a cast lineup.
Yeah.
Right.
Good on them.
Good on them.
We got big dogs in there. We got Patton Oswalt. We got Stephen Fry.
Mm-hmm.
We have Jenna Coleman from Doctor Who fame.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's right. She's in this. Yeah.
And Joanna Constantine is going to make an appearance, so we're going to get that flashback, hopefully, of old Hob.
Yeah.
From this. I know there's a couple people confused who are like, are they gender swapping Constantine? No, they're not. It's like his ancestor. It's fine.
Yeah.
And Death is actually by it's going to be portrayed by an African American, which is interesting. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Let's do
I'm
it.
into it.
Why not? They're endless. They don't all have to be white.
Yeah.
No.
And even throughout this book, they're not. Like,
No.
the endless are whatever they need to be at that point in time.
Right.
Yeah. So.
When I first saw that, I completely blanked, and I was like, I thought Kat Dennings was playing Death, but that's who does the voice in the Audible version, which we talked about. So I was like, oh yeah, a lot of these are new. I had no idea. But good, I'm interested, and hopefully we're getting closer to a release date on that.
Yeah.
Because this could be one that they're really, I hope they're going to do it right.
Hopefully.
Sandman has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
It's not like one of these Jupiter's Legacies that just sprung up out of nowhere.
Oh, there's so much content for them to just to scroll over, just in these first 2 volumes that we've read. Like, it'd be impossible. Like, you just have to take one little specific instance and really crack down on it.
I'm amazed, like, some of the characters that they're casting here, they have, like, these small little parts in the overall story that I'm glad they're focusing on that, because that could be something that I would think maybe, like, we're just going to brush over that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm all on board. It's looking good.
Yeah.
We got a comment here from Mr. Sejic himself.
Oh, yeah.
Comics artist and writer extraordinaire.
Mm.
Interesting enough, this show will be my first encounter with the Sandman.
Oh, my
Hard to get
word.
comics in Croatia back in the day.
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
Wow.
So hopefully you enjoy this not #1 issue you're jumping into, and hopefully it does it justice for you to jump on board.
My word, this is a pretty tall order to
Yeah.
fulfill here. If we are going to be fulfilling someone's first encounter with Sandman.
Yeah.
God, we're going to do our best. And fingers crossed that somehow he draws us into Sunstone at some point.
That's all I
In like
want.
a background scene of a BDSM
Yeah.
club. That would literally make the entire show worth doing.
Let us know if you need to send us. If we need to send you some shots.
Yeah,
That's
some
right.
reference photos. I'm all into it.
Oh man, read his books, everybody out
Yeah,
there.
fantastic
Sunstone,
stuff.
amazing stuff.
Yeah.
We did an episode on it. We're going to come back again too.
Yeah.
But should we get right into it?
Why don't we jump into it?
All right, if I can back up just a bit, as I tend to do,
Yeah.
I'm just going to get everyone up to speed on what happened last time for Sedgwick, so so he knows what's going on here. This volume, Doll's House, Volume 2, picks up after Morpheus's nearly century-long imprisonment by crazy cultist Roderick Burgess.
Mm-hmm.
And he escapes, as we know he does. He quickly reacquired his missing artifacts over the course of the last trade. Got some sweet dream vengeance on those that wronged
yeah,
him.
boy, did he.
And then ended the first volume by getting a new lease on life by his sister, Death, of all people.
Right.
So we are going forward. We're covering issues 9 through 16, and we're continuing Morpheus's reacclimation to a changing world as he discovers his place in it.
Mm-hmm.
Volume 2, The Doll's House.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So this volume starts off with almost like a non sequitur chapter. You don't know what's going on because it's like just a story between 2 tribesmen, and it's a story that they pass on from generation to generation to generation.
Mm-hmm.
And not every story is told the same. The men tell certain stories, women tell certain stories, and then as a tribe they all tell stories together. And it's about this used to be this big. In the past, a big grand city of glass, and the land was fruitful with life, and
Look at that.
you could not throw a spear and not hit something tasty on the other end, you know? That's a legit line from the book.
It is.
Okay, found it at tad racist. I'm glad you verified. All right.
But it goes on to say, like, the queen of that land,
Nada.
yeah, no man could quench her thirst.
Oh my god.
No, that's a little bit too far. I got Cedric in the chat, so I feel like I need to be up on his level, you know. But she eventually finds an infatuation with a man who showed up at the bottom of her tower, and it was Morpheus.
None other.
Yeah, in another form.
Yep.
And she becomes infatuated with him, so much so that she needs to find a way to get to him. And she goes almost through heaven and hell to find a way, asks, like, the Lord of the Birds.
Yep. She talks to the birds. A little bird tells her to seek him out.
Yep, and to find this fire cherry, or fire berry, or whatever. And they bring a berry from the sun to her to ingest it in order to go to find Morpheus. That's the only way to transport her over there. And in doing so, he is infatuated with her at that point, and then she's writing him off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's like, you are a dream lord. You're one of the endless. You can't fall in love with a mere mortal like myself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, is he like, oh, I'm gonna
Watch
try.
me. I'll try. You know how long I've been dreaming? You don't know what I woke up with. But she's essentially saying, no, it's not going to work. A mortal can't love an immortal.
I was a fool to think this could work at first. Yeah.
And he's like, we can make this happen.
Yeah.
You know? But sure enough, it goes awry.
Yeah.
And Paul, if you can flip to the next page here, we're going to see just how far it falls.
Yeah.
All the way down to the bottom.
They
Can't do the whistle. One of my sound effects guys.
There we
Thank
go.
you. All right, team effort.
Yep.
So yeah, she throws herself from the mountaintop because she's like, this isn't going to happen. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
And as we've said, this is all recounting the tale from this elder tribesman to a young buck.
Yes.
As he comes to manhood.
Yeah.
So she dies.
Yes.
Yeah.
But her soul is still painting.
Yes.
And he seeks her out, and he's like, "You gotta come back with me, baby. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but we can make this happen."
Mm-hmm.
And Paul, if we can switch to the next one here, she's like, "I can't do this, and if you ask me again, I'm gonna say no, and then I'm gonna go to hell."
Yeah.
And this is like fantasy lingo, so like none of this really needs to make sense. It's just like, ask me 3 times, I'm going to hell. That's just how it works. And he asks her a 3rd time, and boom, she's done.
Yep.
She's gone. And that's that.
Yeah.
For them. So we find out why he encountered her in the pits of hell back in issue 4 of Volume 1.
Yep.
And at that point, he was still shrugging her off. He's still like got a bruised ego that she dumped him.
Mm-hmm.
What a shithead this Morpheus is. Right?
Yeah, and we'll come to find out how just kind of either passive and kind of slightly cruel he can be throughout this whole 2nd volume as well.
Right. When this chapter ended, I'm like, what? I mean, obviously, Neil Gaiman had something set up. But I'm just like, what does this have to do with anything? Because it abruptly ends right there.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the end of the story.
Yep.
It's like, well, what happened? It's like, well,
Don't
and then
worry about it.
the writer, the narrator at that point lets us know, it's like, well, we're not a woman. We're not privy to know.
I know. I do like that. So at the very beginning of this, they say this is a tale that men tell the young men in the tribe.
Yeah.
And they say, like, women tell a different tale, but the men don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And since Neil Gaiman is a man, it's
Yeah.
like he doesn't know it. We don't know. We don't know what they're telling each other. It's not this. But I really like that because he's saying, like, flat out, like, guys don't know what women are thinking.
Right.
Like, you know, they're completely different. Like, you know, we look at it one way, they look at it another.
Yeah.
And for our way, we look at it as like, oh, poor Dream. Like, man, this girl rejected him. But from a woman's point of view, I spit on you, I'm sorry.
Fine. Getting excited.
Yeah, I am. I'm spurting. From a woman's point of view, it's like, dude, look at this asshole. Like, you can't just expect me to bend over backwards. Like, it doesn't work this way.
Right.
So I like that he just flat out acknowledged that right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? There's some things we're not privy to. Don't worry about it. It's not our business. Good on him.
I really love that ending because it was abrupt. At the same time, I read it and I was like, Gaiman, you dog.
you did it. Oh man! Before we get too far into it, because this is, like you said, it's a one-off. But Paul, if you can go back to the very first image I gave you there, it's a cover shot. Look at these fucking covers, man.
Yeah.
Oh my! I don't know if McKean did the one on the left here. This was the new version for the 30th anniversary. 30 years of Sandman already. But on the right is a sample from one of the ones in this trade. And Neil, I know you're gaga for these covers.
Yeah.
What do you think of this? Like, what a weird artistic choice. I mean, I guess it was very much in Vertigo's wheelhouse at this time.
Yeah.
But this doesn't look like anything on the shelves.
No, and this was actually a question that was brought up in our Discord. So somebody was like, hey, what's like some of your all-time favorite covers? And my thing was, reading through these, it's like, these Sandman covers are some of the best work I've ever seen as far as like just straight up covers go. Like, they nail the aesthetic of what you'd want the story to feel and be like. They're very weird, obscure, very bizarre, and it's just like...
It's like a patchwork collection of, like, trinkets.
Yeah, and it feels like there's the artistic side of it that's really neat, but it also feels like there's that weird, cool kind of graphic design element of it, too, just because that's kind of what I do as a profession, so I have to bring it up.
Shout out to graphic designers.
Graphic design,
If you're
baby.
a graphic designer, light it up in the chat.
Yeah. Can we get a GD in the chat? Thank you. But yeah, they're just, all of them are so incredible, and they're just so interesting to, like, look at. And granted, like, it doesn't go through, like, the whole book and that art form, but, like, it would be impossible to do a whole book in that kind of art
It would be
form.
taxing to read a whole book like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he did do Arkham Asylum with Grant Morrison.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that is a very acquired taste. I didn't love it the first time. I've grown to absolutely love it. But if I had to read 70-plus issues of Sandman in that style...
It'd be hard to comprehend.
Yeah, it would be tough. Because there's a lot of, like, stuff that you don't quite... I mean, you can't quite pick it up just from the visuals.
Yeah, there's a lot of big picture stuff going on.
Yeah, the covers do a great job of exactly what you said, setting a mood. And it also, like, just to be something different on the stand, to be like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
And, like, pick it up, flip through, and you're like, oh, what's this Morpheus guy all about? And then, that's pretty much what I got from all these covers. They're great, though.
I remember reading, I think Neil or Dave McKean said something like they had to go through a little bit of a conflict with editorial on not having Morpheus on every cover. Like, it doesn't need to be. It's not about Morpheus.
There's
like,
some issues of this he doesn't even
not
show
one
up.
there.
Yeah. So I was like, well, that's interesting. Okay, so from there, we're hitting the ground running.
That's right.
So we move on to kind of the main story of this trade, which is the Doll's House. It kicks off officially. That was kind of a prelude, or an interlude, if you will. So on this, we meet a variety of characters. We meet one of Dream's other siblings, another member of the Endless, Desire, who is Desire is a non-binary sibling who meets, or he, it. Yeah, they. I'm sorry. Caught me off guard there. They've been planning a trap on Morpheus here. We don't know everything that's going into it, but we know they're cooking up something.
Yes.
And they're doing that with Despair, who is just a big old toad. And they've got it out for Morpheus, but we don't know how yet.
Yeah.
We know that something has been laid, and the trap is about to spring. And then we see that Morpheus is kind of just getting back up to speed on his dream kingdom. He's chatting with his like right-hand man, Lucian. They're sweeping up the cobwebs of the dream kingdom. And he's like, so, all the dreams good? Everything in check? And he's like, yeah, all like 9 billion of them are accounted for, except for these 4. So there's 4 escaped dream creatures, if you can showcase the lineup here, the usual suspects. So we got Brute and Glob, appropriately named. We have a very well-dressed Corinthian. And Fiddler's Green, which this whole book I was like, wait, what? What is Fiddler's Green? It's a place.
Even
apparently.
once I got to it, it had to tell me directly.
I know, right? I like, he's like, the guy even came out, I'm Fiddler's Green, and I'm like, huh?
What?
No, you're not.
I'm a place, Fiddler's Green. I'm like, you're a man.
I know you are a man. You're not a green fiddler. Do you have a fiddle?
He does not. Never.
Spoilers, he does not.
He has a cane.
That's
sure
true,
does, with
but
a
not a
sword.
fiddle.
No, no fiddle. So Dream is like, okay, I gotta track these guys down.
Yeah.
These jailbreakers.
Yeah.
And he does. He sets out to.
Yeah.
But before that happens, we're introduced to some more characters.
Mm-hmm. We are introduced to, I'm actually on it right here, we're actually introduced to the character that we met in a previous, the previous book. She was, I can't remember her name right off the top of my head.
Unity Kincaid.
Thank you. The one that slept forever,
Had a
baby, and it was given away, and she didn't even know it existed.
She was raped in her sleep.
Yes.
Oof.
Nasty way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But her offspring finds out that they are taken to this place randomly in London to meet her, and it's her daughter and granddaughter.
Miranda and Rose.
Yes. And Rose we spend a lot of time with through the rest of this book.
Yeah, she's like the main character of this chunk.
So we're introduced to these three women, and everything is laid out for them like, hey, I'm your mom. This is kind of what happened. I'm also kind of sick.
Yeah.
I'm real old, slept for a lot of time. I'm about as mature as you are, Rose, because I've only lived for
70 years, she
yeah.
said, which was like heartbreaking when you think about it. She spent her entire life asleep because in Volume 1, Dream was imprisoned for that whole time, and when Morpheus Dream was imprisoned, all these people were afflicted differently, and she was someone that just happened to like just sleep away for her entire life, basically. And when he escaped, she wakes up. Wow.
Yeah.
I like that they came back to those. And I think there are some other characters, too, that he calls out at the beginning there that we kind of touch base with later on.
Right.
And I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
Me too.
I can't remember the exact reason why, but Rose is sent off. Her task is to find her brother.
Jed.
Jed. Who we find out fairly quickly on where he's at, but she has no idea. She hasn't seen him since he was like
5 or something like that.
3 or 5 years old or something. And she's off on a whirlwind adventure to go back to America to reunite the whole family. And then we pretty much join her on her journey and all the weird places that it takes her to get there. And it's not all great.
No. Paul, can you pull up number 9 there? I've labeled these differently to be more user-friendly for our producer.
Yeah.
So we see Unity here talking about this metaphorical and physical doll's house. And then Rose, as we said, goes off to try to find her brother, which we will get to shortly here. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
But,
I do how like Dream's just like peering
Hanging
at
out.
like, oh, look at these guys chatting about.
Also, I just realized that is a massive dollhouse.
Oh, it's enormous.
She is standing up right next to it, is taller than her.
Maybe it's a perspective thing.
Like a Lord of the Rings. Yeah, look at it.
Sure.
All right, so
It's all Gandalf of a dollhouse there.
Well, if you can switch to the next one here too. We'll go into number 10. We're gonna meet these tenants of this place that Rose goes off to.
This was
What a cast of characters. So
was-
this is the metaphorical and physical and literal. I mean, everything in this is exactly what it is, I suppose. The doll's house. She goes back to America on her search for Jed. Takes a room in this apartment complex, and then meets a cast of characters.
Yeah. Boy, does she.
I would not want to live here.
Not at all! Not at all! So she walks in first and meets a couple that they are called Barbie and Ken. That's not their real names, but it's Barbie,
Barbara,
and probably Ken.
Ken.
But, they would be enough because it's like a weird Stepford vibe. It's like, this is kind of weird, and they're like super positive, finishing their own sentences type shit.
Don't like these guys.
Don't like that. What would really tip me off though is the next set.
Yeah.
And it's like the Spider Women.
Yeah.
Chantel and Zelda.
One doesn't even speak, and the other one, they're both just veiled in lace.
Mm-hmm.
And Hal, right? That's his name?
The landlord?
Yeah, the landlord is like, yeah, they've got like a spider collection and they live upstairs. They don't really cause too much of a ruckus.
But they've got like 1 million spiders up there.
Right there, I'd be like, no thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just going to find somewhere else to live.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yep. And then there's Hal, who's the landlord, and
Yeah.
part-time drag queen.
Yeah.
Man
Yep.
after my own heart.
Yeah.
And then the attic tenant is Gilbert,
Yes.
who they just say is like this unknown guy with a booming voice.
Yeah.
And that's all we get of him for
And
a while.
I love there's one line in there where it's like, is Gilbert your first or last name? And he's like, funny question.
It's Gilbert!
It's just like, okay.
Like Mario! But they're a good group. I'd watch
Yeah.
a sitcom about them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I would not live there.
No! Oh, no.
But she doesn't even find it weird, which I found weird. She's like, okay, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
This is my room then?
Yeah. And it's funny that, like, the day she moves in, Hal's already calling her, like, honey and stuff like that. And you're like, oof.
Coming a little
Weird.
strong, okay.
Even more turned off than I am about these tenants is my reaction to Rose's reaction of these tenants. I don't like it. She needs to get her bearings.
She's too cool about stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Oh man, so she's just living it up here with
Yeah.
all these wonderful people. Meanwhile, if we can jump to the next slide here, Paul, doing a PowerPoint presentation here, we meet Rose's poor brother Jed,
Yeah.
who is lost in dreamland for, the better part of his days,
Mm-hmm.
and he is just living it up with the dream Sandman, the Golden Age Sandman,
Yeah.
which I had to do some digging on, but this is a Jack Kirby creation.
Okay,
this
I'm glad you
Sandman.
did, because I meant to do it and I didn't get around to it.
I thought that I told you to do it, but then I thought he's not going to do it, so I better do it. So we're like Barbie and Ken. We're completing each other's Imperius Rex now. But, yeah, this guy was created, and he is Hector Hall.
Yeah.
Is the Golden Age Sandman, the son of Carter Hall, the Hawkman, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
And he was a like a young member of the Justice League of America, I believe, way
Okay.
back when, and he died while his wife Hippolyta
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
was pregnant, and that was it. That was it for his story. So Neil Gaiman brought him into this, and he's like, well, he just kept on existing in this dream realm along with his wife. And Brute and Glob, the escaped dreams, like, I guess, I struggled with how to phrase this, like, resurrect, but he's not. He's only in the dream world.
They needed because they kind of go on and explain how they needed it to happen. They needed to have somebody that just died in order to capture, like, their essence to put them in, like, a lifelong dream.
Yes.
So they could play with it.
Yeah, and they're just, like, fucking around.
Yeah.
They don't even have, like, a master plan.
No, one's a meatball, for God's sake.
Yes. I don't know which one. Meat or
I'm not sure.
Glob. Could be either. But they are creating this, like, dreamscape within Jed's mind where these deceased people are just, like, they don't know they're dead and they're just acting out. They're just going through the motions.
Right.
Yeah.
And Hector Hall, the Sandman, is like, all right, well, another job for the Sandman. Here we go. And off he goes.
Hurrah!
Yeah.
But the weird, like, there's one line that's like a weird kind of the dark twist to this is when the wife comes out and she says, like, I feel like I've been pregnant for a long time.
Forever.
Yeah,
Forever.
I
And
was
you're just
6
like,
months pregnant when I got here, and we've been here for years?
Yeah,
I think
it's
that's just a common thing with pregnancy.
Trust me, I don't know.
But, yeah, so she realizes something's up. Meanwhile, he's just living the dream.
Yeah.
Fighting foes in Jed's head.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if we can go back to that previous slide, Paul, if we can back it up there. Yeah, there we go. Back in the corporate world. Poor Jed, you see him here pissing in a corner. He is living a terrible life.
Yeah.
Because he was put up for adoption, adopted by this awful couple who is only using him for, like, the child support money.
Yeah, to get a stipend from the government or something like that. Yeah.
Oh my lord!
Yeah, and
is
they
this a
are
real thing.
They are shit T.
Yeah.
Capital T.
Yeah.
Shit
Blokes.
T. Yeah.
They keep him chained up in the basement.
Yeah.
Without a pot to piss in.
Right, he has to piss on the wall. Look.
Oh.
And he's got the itchiest blankets. And it's probably not temperature controlled down there.
That
and if he
sounds
does
terrible.
come upstairs, he gets punched and berated at by the master of the house. A real cock of a bloke.
He is. Paul, can you believe this? Paul, you're shaking your head.
He went, no.
No, I can't. Sorry.
Thank you. It's terrible. It's terrible. All right, back to us. Speak when spoken to. All right. So this is the setup for like the first 3 issues of this arc, and then it goes into something completely different, and then it goes into something else completely different. But just round out the cast of characters here. Let's go one more slide in. We got what do we got here? Come on. It's all right. It's going. All right. Here we go. We meet Gilbert.
Yes.
Gilbert, he saves Rose from an attack after she sees one of Hell's drag shows. And he becomes like her knight in shining armor, essentially.
Right.
So she's going to go out in search of Jed, and he's like, you know what, young lady, I'm going to accompany you.
Right.
Because I'm an honest gentleman. Much like a man I know, Leonard say down there. Very inside joke. So they're going to set off together. And meanwhile, in the dream world, we see that Morpheus is also seeing all this. He's like, I got to track down these dreams. Matthew, my raven, come on in. Tell me where to go. And it's worth noting that Matthew the Raven is, in fact, Matthew Cable from Alan Moore's Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love that.
I love that it ties that together.
So that's Abby Arcane's deceased ex-husband who died and has been reincarnated, I guess, in the dream world as a raven. I like that Neil Gaiman just picked up these threads and was like, yeah, I'm going to run with it, and he's going to be Dream's dude here.
Yeah.
Kind of like how we picked up Miracle Man from Alan Moore.
Yeah.
Just finishing each other's sentences.
Real Barbie and Ken, those two.
Real Barbie and Ken, that Neil Gaiman and Alan Moore. So I'll make a Photoshop of that. Anything interesting in the chat, Troy?
We got, well, the last one here, not sure if anyone at the Imperius Rex can hear this, but the stream really needs a compressor on the audio. It's either too quiet or too loud.
Oh my
no
God.
in between.
Paul.
Let's compress that.
What are we?
We're compressing
it.
We're compressing it as we speak.
All right. Sorry about that, everybody.
But yeah, I just want to touch on the art here because we had some comments about the art in the last volume. We were either really liked certain aspects of it, but like also found that some aspects we didn't feel like fit the book.
Yeah,
we
thought
dated. Yeah, dated.
Oh boy.
But I feel like this volume is super consistent throughout.
Yeah.
And I don't think Morpheus has looked better yet.
I think he looks great.
He looks great in this.
Yeah. Who are the artists on this one? So I know the top one there, Mike Dringenberg.
Yeah.
He did a lot from the last trade.
Yeah.
He picked up after Sam Keith left.
Yes.
I think. And then we got a couple other ones in
Malcolm
there too.
Jones III, Chris Bacalo.
Chris Bacalo.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Chris Bacalo?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I didn't pick out, like, he obviously hadn't come into his full style yet.
Right.
Because I didn't pick out any of this as Chris Bacalo.
No, not at all.
I don't know which one he did, but I would be interested in going back and doing further research that I should have done beforehand.
Yeah. And it labels him just as artist, so he could have been doing inks or finishes or something like that as well. But Michael Zulli and Steve Parkhouse also.
Yeah, I thought this whole thing held together much better than art in the first one.
Yes.
Nothing stood out as being different or shocking, but I agree that Morpheus and Sandman both looked incredible.
Like he's cartoony.
Yes.
For one.
Yeah.
And this is like, it's a mature book, so like it shouldn't look goofy.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
In my opinion, like whatever. But I like the tone of this one.
Same.
So do I.
It's kind of sparse. It's like it's not in your face.
Yeah, it's got a realistic, natural approach to it. The only reason I bring it up because one of my favorite 2 pages in this is right before part 3. is when Dream goes and he starts suiting up.
Oh my god, I love it.
Into his attire.
Yeah.
And even though I wasn't, like, I'm a huge fan of, like, the helmet or the flame coat.
Oh, can you pull up this next image here?
This
13
looks amazing.
This was actually one of my favorite things
does
of the
a
entire
full-on
book,
pose
too.
there.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
flame
And
jacket.
that sweet-ass boots he's wearing. Oh, my God.
Damn. What a fashion icon. You know, we
Pretty
can
great.
still replicate that look for the Hellfire Gala coming up next month.
We'll see.
All right. I'm just going to take a second in the chat. Is the sound any better yet?
It does.
Audio
It sounds
sounds
great now.
All right. Paul,
Paul,
gold star.
glad to have you aboard. You've already made up for it.
You did it.
Merch like a
I'm so proud of you. I've never been happier to be your associate. All right, so we're really running now. We're on the gravy train with biscuit wheels.
Yeah.
We've had a couple. It's chaos.
With no biscuits to try to fill the void.
All right, so let's go on to 14 here. Let's show a glimpse of Hector Hall and his wife here, just living it up in their dream spaceship, essentially.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel so terrible for her. She's got, like, a tragic story here. And you know what? I don't think this is the end of it. Because this unborn child may play a role a little bit later on.
Oh, yeah. So it's not even really foreshadowing so much as
He
like,
flat out
says, like, that child will be mine later.
Yep.
Just so you know.
Yeah. That was
Remember that.
Little foreshadowing.
And that was actually kind of one of that page was what I was alluding to towards the beginning, where he's kind of like, he's no nonsense. Like, that is like where he's just straight up brutally honest to this woman, where he's like, you're gonna die and that child is mine, and there's no questions asked. Like, and I really love that tone from him. I don't know, that just seems to be like the perfect thing where you're just like, oh, that he knows how to cut you deep. Oh my God,
He doesn't give a shit.
And it's interesting too because he has these highs and lows where like he meets with death and he's like, hey, you know what, humanity, I'm all about it, I love it. And then at the same time, fuck you, I'm taking your kid. You're dead.
Yeah, you've had a horrible life. You've been stuck here for a long time.
See
Wanted
ya.
to have your kid. Guess what? It's mine later. So in your face, I'm out.
Yep, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Paul, if you can jump to the next slide here. As Rose continues on her journey, she checks into the worst hotel imaginable.
Oh my God.
So there are like 3 storylines happening at once here.
Yeah.
And I give Neil Gaiman credit because when I think back to this, I think like, oh, the doll's house is the serial killer thing. But it's not. It's only like 1/3 of it.
Yeah.
And this whole trade is like 3 different parts that are all happening at once, and they all end separately. And I think he does an excellent job of balancing all of the storylines here.
Yeah.
And like I can't stress that enough in the fact that like I thought it was one thing, but it's like many things.
And they all bleed into each other seamlessly too.
Yes. So Rose and Gilbert are on a road trip. Sounds like an amazing road trip that I would love to be privy to. This teenage girl and this old block of wood, Gilbert. And they check into this hotel and they're like, sorry, inn's closed, full up.
Yeah.
And she's like, just let us stay one night. And they're like, we can't. There's a cereal convention. These people must really, they dig their cereal.
Yeah.
And she's like, we'll be quiet. We'll just one night and then we're out of here. And they're like, okay, I'll talk to the manager.
Yeah.
He says it's okay. We'll do it. You got to be out tomorrow. All right.
Yeah.
Turns out it's a fucking serial killer convention. Didn't know there was such a thing. But they're going to be hanging out during this thing.
Yeah.
Oh boy, was this weird.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that's going on. And at the same time, Paul, if we can jump back to that same slide there, we meet an individual, notorious individual, known only as the Corinthian.
Yeah.
Which is the fucking greatest name.
So good. It's like the Merovingian.
Yes. Oh my God. Or Vigo the Carpathian.
Yes.
So the Corinthian is a nightmare that Morpheus materialized, and he's escaped. He's one of those 4 escapees. and he is wreaking havoc across the heartland, cutting people's eyes out and eating them
With his eyes, though, right?
with his own eyes.
His eyes are mouths.
We don't see it yet because we're seeing this all from his eyes, as you can see on the
Or
slide.
his mouths.
Or his mouth. I'm sorry. I don't want to.
There's, but
I
what,
don't want to assume his orifice.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
what's cool about it though is like you're kind of introduced to the Corinthian like a little bit at a time because you only see like his Terminator vision, right?
Yes.
In the blue filter. And you're
Yep.
like, oh, what the fuck is going on with this guy?
What's this guy all
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
What's he got, teeth for eyes?
Yeah.
Oh, he does. All right.
But I love how the head of the serial killer convention is like I can't. There's so much to talk about here. That's so weird. But like the serial killer convention, they've like the guest of honor is the family man. And after you learn like that they're all killers and weird sickos, you're like, oh, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Fun fact: the Family Man is the name of a Constantine Hellblazer trade.
Oh my God.
I haven't read it. I don't know what it entails, but I assume it ties into this.
It must tie in if he's.
And I think Grant Morrison might have written it.
Oh my God.
People, if they know in the chat, light us up.
Yeah.
Family Man. What's up with the Family Man?
Yeah. But they were like, oh, he can't show up, but we've got. You all know him, the Corinthian.
You love him.
Yeah.
You love that weird thing he does with his eyes.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So the Corinthian. Thoughts on the Corinthian, real quick. Paul, I don't have a slide for this. It's just us, just playing jazz here.
Great. I love him. Like,
Yeah.
He bleeds into the rest of the serial killers like seamlessly, and they all fucking love him. And
Yes.
for that, I also kind of love him.
Oh no!
Is it weird that it's like he's such like a famous name around because he's been out and about because Morpheus has been out of commission for a
100
while.
years,
that
yeah.
He's built up a name around himself, and everyone's like, "Oh shit,
The Corinthians
Holy
here.
cool.
I
Oh my
love
God.
that. I love that you mentioned the time.
I need to comb my hair.
I love that you mentioned the time too, because all of them are like, "Oh, I thought you'd be older. We've heard you for years and years and years." It's just because he's been around since for like 70, 80 years, because that's when Morpheus got locked up.
Yeah. So Boyd Holbrook, who's going to be
Oh,
playing him,
my God.
that is the guy in Logan.
Logan, yeah.
And he's in other things too, but I know him from Logan. I think he's going to be fantastic as a Corinthian. That's a good casting.
Spot on casting.
I'm wondering how much screen time he'll get, or like how much this first season is going to fucking encapsulate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do a season on the first trade alone,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I imagine they probably can't use the rights to a lot of these DC characters, so maybe they just jump right into it.
Yeah.
But like, yes, the serial killer convention is a really good angle for this. And if we can talk about that, this reminds me of like that 24-hour diner issue of the first volume that we talked about, which is one of the most horrific issues of Sandman.
Golly.
And I don't think it ever gets worse than that in terms of like depravity. But this one left me fucking unsettled.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like this convention. It's like a big ol' sales seminar, basically, where all these serial killers from across the world, across the United States, I guess, come together and just like have a good powwow.
They even have like a disco.
Discotheque.
Yeah, RSVP only.
I love that they have like the seminar or like panels too. Like, oh, did you catch any panels? Oh, just the religious, like the far religious one I caught. Oh man, it's so bizarre. And
Paul,
just,
can you go to 24?
I caught the
Slide
women
24?
in killing seminar. Or
Yeah,
whatever it was.
Yeah. So yeah, we're
Dog
jumping ahead a
soup.
little bit on my planning, but yeah, we get a look at the collectors basically.
Yeah.
And this is just, it's so gross. Everything about this, like you can tell that Neil Gaiman thought about this.
Yeah.
And-
I have a great idea.
And this is something where it's like, I appreciate that he went all in on this, but like what a dark headspace it had to be to go into this.
Yeah. But what a better time than now for this to come out when serial killers are hot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's serial killer docs on all the time.
Oh yeah.
Shit. put it on Netflix. You got your fucking new Making a Murderer right there.
Yeah.
In a Netflix show. You kidding me?
Oh my god, it's like he was waiting for this 30th anniversary for us to talk about this. Yeah, man. But yeah, they go through all these different killers. They go through like their modes and methods, and it's eye-opening in the fact that like someone thought about this, and also the fact that like yes, there are real cases similar to this that they are thinking about this, and it's off-putting.
Very much so.
When I first read this like years ago, I was like, oh yeah, that was a good issue. When I read it now, a little bit older, I was like, oof, I don't know about that. Like that was rough.
It was rough, but it's like such a ridiculous idea that it almost breaks. It doesn't break the story, makes it bad. It breaks the tension for me to add like a bit of dark levity to it.
Yeah.
So
it totally does. It's like it's a satire on serial killer culture.
Yes.
Oh.
You guys need anything?
Oh, we're good. Oh, the Imperius Rex business manager just stepped in. Come on in. Oh. Hello there. How are you doing?
I'm good.
All right.
I just came to check on you guys.
I'm grateful that you did. I guess I am a little low, but I think we've got some more beers here. Thank you.
Nope, probably not.
All right. All right.
Well, that's just incentive for you to wrap it up.
All right.
All right. I've got all the Rex kids to watch upstairs.
Okay.
Oh boy.
All right. Love you. All right. We're like halfway through.
But yeah, Serial Killer Con, great concept. And, okay, the fact that now Rose, she's trapped here because now the cops won't let her leave.
Yes.
She can't leave the next day because they know now that there's a relation to her and this Jed. Because when the cops went there, they found things are fucked up. Like, don't go anywhere. It's like, oh shit, now I'm caught here. Unbeknownst to me, there's a bunch of serial killers around, but there is this very nice rotund man with a not Mickey Mouse hat on.
Yes.
Who is very friendly.
Yes.
That's right. But Troy, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Oh,
Don't let the business
I'm sorry.
manager
I'm
dictate
sorry.
what you want to talk about.
I'm sorry.
Paul, if we can back it up just a bit here, let's go back to number 16, slide 16 on my PowerPoint here. So let's knock this out real quick.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Hector Hall confronts the Sandman, Morpheus, of Dream, and they have a battle.
Yes.
And Morpheus, as a endless deity, wipes the fucking floor with it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, my escaped creations are here. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out.
Yeah.
In the words of...
LL Cool J.
Thank you. Yes. And let's jump one more, Paul, to the next one. And he lets Hector in on a little secret that you're dead, and sorry, but you're dead. That's it.
That, if he wasn't already dead, this would be kind of sad because like Glob and Brute.
Yep.
I was like Glob and Blob.
Glob
and
and
Brute
Blob
built his like this non-confidence up in him, right? Because they're just creating this dream space around him. He's like, you're gonna fight your old foe, and he's like, the nightmare guy. Go punch him, and he like has this weird golden age nostalgia, like gung ho about him, and then he finally does meet like Morpheus, and he's like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah. What are you?
And he just like almost evaporates.
Well,
him,
I love that they do send him at Morpheus, and they're like, does he have stand a chance? And he's like, no.
No.
Of course he doesn't.
Well, not a chance. Yeah. So let's jump to the next one here as Morpheus just fucking decimates Hector Hall.
Yeah.
Sends him back to the land of the dead. Sends him over to his sister, Death.
Yeah.
And then this is the moment that we talked a little bit about earlier where he's like, oh yeah, Hippolyta?
They call her, I think,
Lita.
I read it as Lita in
Lita.
this. But yeah.
That is one of those Greek names that I cannot pronounce
You
for
can't
the life
pronounce
of me.
English names.
I can't pronounce English names. No, I cannot. Undecipherable. But he basically says like, hey, great work with Hector, but I'm gonna take your kid and see you later. And she's like, you like fucking hell you will. but he does.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Yep.
Yeah. Moving on. Let's check out what's happening in that serial killer convention.
Oh,
Let's
God.
go back
What do
to
you
the
think?
con.
Paul, let's jump to 25 if we can. Oh my God! Look
There
at
he
that fucking
is.
Corinthian with those shades.
Friggin' no sleeves, you kidding? Showing off those guns.
So there was a reporter for like a taboo magazine, essentially.
Yes.
Chast,
Yeah.
that was trying to do a little story on this, and they found him out. They take him out in the woods and they fucking butcher him.
Right.
And this was just unnerving to me.
Yeah.
And I'm a dude that likes his horror stuff, but I'm
Yeah.
like, this is just rough.
Yeah. Well, he came in masquerading as another killer, and
Yeah.
then they find out that it's not him. And it's the guy who puts on the con. What was his name? The nerd guy? The Corinthian, and then, like, the...
They call him like a hunter, but like, or he is a hunter of sorts, but
Oh,
that
is
doctor.
it Nimrod?
it is
It is
Nimrod!
Nimrod! Yes.
We just did an X-Men episode, so it's all coming full circle. Hickman planned it. I assure you.
Yeah, it's Nimrod, the Corinthian, and that old doctor guy, and
Yes.
they take him out back,
And
and
they
they
fucking
do their worst.
put a bullet in him. Oh boy.
He wishes.
He wishes they just put a bullet in him.
Because they all torture him in the ways that they torture people,
Yeah,
I guess.
Like skinning them alive and
Yeah.
taking out their
The
eyes.
eyes, yeah.
The Corinthian takes out their eyes and eats them.
Yeah.
And that's
Yum.
awful. I
Yeah.
don't want any part of that.
And Nimrod will field dress you, and then the doctor, I can't remember his
he
name.
flays them.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
fillets them and then uses their skin as like ties and shit.
neckties
Yeah.
and stuff, yeah.
Well, if it's a good enough tie, I mean, what's the harm?
Okay, so when I got to that page and it talked about ties, I actually flipped back to look at his tie and I'm like, that's a nice tie.
He does good work.
He does good work.
I thought you were gonna look on the internet. Can you make ties out of skin?
Leather neckties? Human leather ties?
There's gotta be leather neckties.
Well, let's
Oh.
move on.
Okay, alright, just saying.
So they're just living it up here. They're having panels. They're talking about religion, serial killers, everything.
Yeah.
Everything under the sun.
Yeah.
And then at this time, Gilbert tells Rose, because they're all under the same roof here,
Yeah.
they're like, if anything goes awry, you just yell out this name on this piece of paper that I'm giving you.
Yeah.
And within 30 seconds, something goes awry. And this big old tub of shit named Funland, who's the Mickey Mouse, the Disneyland guy, who exclusively deals in abducting children at Disney World
Yeah.
and having his way with them. It's awful.
Yeah.
He goes after her and she screams out, "Morpheus!" And boom, he comes. When I say boom, Paul, you just cut to that let me see here. That
cut to the
slide.
boom.
Cut to the boom. 27. Slide 27. We're good. Chaos reigns. Is that what we're saying? No, that's from Antichrist. Dream arrives, and he cleans up here. He's like, oh shit, look at all this awful humanity taking place in front of me. And he tracks down the Corinthian. He's like, well, this has to end.
Failed experiment of mine. I should have taken you out and said you're half-baked.
Right in the middle of his big old presentation.
Yeah.
He had a PowerPoint presentation. He probably had Paul on the other end. He's like, Paul, go to slide 31. Not really, Paul. No, not 31. No, we're not ready for that yet.
But yeah, I love that when like the Corinthian confronts him too. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. Just stabs him in the hand. He's like, oh, I see. Well, you're toast now. And just like, you're gone. Like, just vaporizes him. And I just love that he has like this blank expression with a knife through his hand and stuff. He's so badass.
Yeah. The way they use like the dream as a weapon, not the person, but like your aspect of the concept. Yeah. I love that because like he makes Funland like incapacitated by giving him like a happy dream,
like pleasure, essentially.
Yeah. But not by killing, but by like almost making him feel like how he probably feels inside, like a child,
Yeah.
and like makes him live out his days in his brain as like playing with children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, as this whole thing, as this serial killer convention wraps up,
Yeah.
it wraps up like that,
Yeah.
where
yeah.
he sends them all on their way, but he doesn't, like, he punishes them, but he basically makes them aware of the fact that they're not, like, the heroes in their own story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're all these alpha male, like,
Yeah.
cis dudes.
Yeah.
They're like, I've been rejected by society, I'm doing my thing. He basically says, like, no, you're awful, and now you recognize that.
He takes away their dreams of being that, and then they're
Yeah.
just nothing.
Yeah, so they go out, like, looking at themselves like how everyone else would perceive them, and they're like, oh my god, we're fucking awful.
Yeah.
And he sends them off into the world, like, haunted by that
Mhm.
thought.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, wow, what a weird comeuppance. Like, you
Yeah.
want to see these guys, like, just fucking disemboweled
Yeah.
Yeah.
over the racks, but he does something different, and it might be just as awful for them internally.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah. I wanted to see them suffer, but I guess they are suffering.
Yeah.
So, like, all right, I guess that'll do.
Yeah. And in his own way. I love that his approach to things is just so completely different than what I could I'd ever think of.
Right.
So interesting.
Well, he's up here, you know. If
Oh,
you step
yeah.
on an anthill, are you
Yeah.
upset?
yeah, that's true.
It's kind of that shit, you know? You know?
You know?
You know?
All right.
All right.
But then there's a bit of a break in the action if we can jump to Dollhouse Part
Oh my
4.
God.
Not to spoil too
19,
much.
Paul. 19.
I loved this little story.
I did too.
here.
This
Yeah.
intermission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Troy, during this intermission, can you hand me a beer? If we
I
have any
could
more?
see. Oh, there is one left.
One more! Oh man, business manager's not gonna like this.
Here we go.
You're even opening it for me. My word, I'm gonna
Open
able
everything.
some tonight. All right. She's not watching. Anyway. Yes, this is where Paul, can you put it back up? What are we paying for it? Men of good fortune. This is where we lost one of our Imperius Rex viewers, Sam.
Yeah.
Sam Anderson, always vocal, always Canadian.
Yeah.
He did not like this. He thought this broke up the action. And I will admit, this happened in between the serial killer convention thing. We're just getting to it a little bit later.
Yeah.
Because we were on a roll.
Yeah.
Because chaos reigns.
That's right.
And we're getting to it now, but I love this one-off.
Me
This
too.
is one of my favorite that we've read so far, and I put it up there with, like, the death issue of Volume 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Yep.
Because, like, I saw Sam's comment first, and there was, like, a little back and forth
Oh,
between
look
you,
at you.
and Sam.
Flex.
And well, I just got it before I read the issue, you know
Go
what
on,
I mean?
go
So
on.
I was like, oh man, it's like, I didn't know what to expect going in, but I also really liked this issue.
Mhm.
It wasn't at all what Sam was talking about.
Sam, get your shit together.
I just like that it was just a little thing, like, it was just a little bizarre happenstance that just happened to happen between two gentlemen, kind of a thing.
Right.
Inconsequential
Yeah.
thing that happened in the existence of Morpheus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, jump to 20-ish, slide 20 in my PowerPoint presentation. There we go. So this issue is like a one-off, and it's Dream and Death talking about, they essentially, like, make a bargain. Like, what would happen if you let a human live forever?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, would they get sick of it, essentially?
Yeah.
And Dream's like, I don't think they would. And she's like, I think they would. And he's like, well, let's see. And he goes and chats with this guy, Hobb, who talks about, like, oh, man, if I live forever, everything would be great. I'd live it up.
Right. And
He's
I
like,
can't
"All right."
die.
I
You
love
only
it. He's like,
accept if you
"Well,
want to die.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yep. So he says, like, all right, yeah, go ahead, live forever. I'll meet you again in 100 years. And everyone at that pub laughs it off. And this
You
is-
don't live till you're 60.
30 would be an old age at that point. This is old. This is way back when.
Yeah.
So like they laugh it off. They're like, "Oh, Hob, what a sport."
But guess who was there 100 years later and they weren't?
Oh,
Hob.
and Morpheus.
And Morpheus.
Yep, that's right.
In a different
so they meet
outfit.
again. Oh my God!
I
yeah,
love
you,
his little outfit.
You get the full attire.
Are you kidding me?
Well, I think that's what really sold it to me, in all honesty, because every 100 years you'd get that different time period. Like, you're like, this, I know exactly when this is.
This is ye old time.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
This is Shakespearean time.
As
Yeah.
opposed to the old times.
Oh, man, speaking
Yeah.
of Shakespeare,
So we encounter Shakespeare himself,
who's a
and-
shit playwright or something like
Yeah.
that, apparently.
Morpheus actually asks him, contracts him to write a play, which we will see next trade, I believe.
Oh, okay.
That's right. So a little seating again. And we also see the highs and lows of our friend Hob here,
Yeah.
who was doing great at one point, and then 100 years later, not so great.
Yeah. Still wanted to live, but
Yep.
just not so great.
And Dream looking a lot like Prince here.
Yeah.
With his
A real
Jerry,
dandy.
Yeah, with his Jerry curl and purple blouse.
That's right.
But yes, 100 years later they do meet again, and what they made each other 5 or 6 times or something.
Yeah,
to that
a
effect?
handful, definitely.
Um,
And every time he asks him, like, "Are you ready to end it?" And Hobbs like, "No."
yeah.
This is my year for slavery. It's
Yeah.
like, well,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah, he's
Even
like-
at his lowest, he's like, "Oh,
That's
I can
good.
I can rebound from this."
Yeah, and
And he
I'm
does.
right there with him. I'm like, even like shit is better than nothing, you know. So like he's keeping on, and he's as we said, he highs and lows, but he's going through it. And eventually, if we can jump to the next slide here, we encounter a couple other cast of characters here. We see not a descendant, an ascendant. What do we call?
An
What do we call that?
ancestor.
An ancestor.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the same vibe to it of John Constantine.
Yes.
We get Joanna Constantine, who's been tracking these guys. They see like the undying man and the wandering Jew. They
Yeah.
call them.
Yeah.
Basically, but Dream just does his hocus pocus and knocks them all out.
Right.
But it's interesting to see that old Constantine always had like a background in this crazy
Yeah.
supernatural stuff.
I actually like this kind of stuff. Or I actually like this part when they show up in I can't.
Like Jack the Ripper time?
Yeah, Jack the Ripper times, I guess. But like they're followed into the bar by her, and she's like, "Aha! I tracked you down because I found some note written in some dude's jacket from a long time ago, and now I'm here, and it's real, bitch." And
Yeah.
Dream's like,
Slade. Does the Willem Dafoe Spider-Man. Slade.
Well, I actually love the line where it's like, where you were kind of saying, it's like the wandering Jew and the pale man, and then Morpheus is like, "I'm not a man," and the other guy's like, "I'm not Jewish."
That's that. Yeah.
In your face, constant spleen.
And then if we can jump to the next one here, Paul, too. So their previous to last meeting, Hob realizes that, like, I feel like... Nope, one more. There we go.
Yeah, there we
Perfection. Nope, that's backwards. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Hob is like, I've been thinking about this, and I think you only, like, extended my life because you're lonely. And
Oh,
Dream
yeah.
is like, fuck you! I'm not lonely, you're lonely!
I don't need friends.
Yeah.
Who do you think I am, huh?
Throws the table over, has a big old John Wayne conniption. Yeah, for Sam. And storms out, and Hobbs like, well, if you still feel that way, maybe meet me in 100 years or not.
Yeah.
And then 100 years later, the 100 years that Dream has been essentially imprisoned, he shows up in this amazing, like, 90s
yeah.
goth look.
Oh my god.
But he's like,
straight
you know what?
out of freaking the 80s.
Yeah.
Look at that shit.
He's like, you know what? You're right. I did want a friend.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're him.
Yeah.
Ah, what a guy.
Perfect thing. I loved this issue. God.
Mm-hmm. It's another encapsulation of Dream just coming full circle. without the help of death, or maybe it was. I guess we don't know exactly where this fell into. Paul, can you turn back to us? Come on, we're flapping our jaws here. I don't know when this happened in encapsulation to the entire series, but like he's changing with the times.
Yeah.
And he's realizing, you know what I thought 100 years ago doesn't make sense now. I love Hob.
Right.
I want to hug him.
Yeah.
I've been in a glass cylinder for 100 years.
I just need human contact. I need a hug.
Yeah. Oh my word.
Yeah, such a great issue though.
Yeah. But
Just so unique.
yeah. And that puts us right near the end of this book here.
Yep. So the serial killer convention
Was put to a halt.
It folded.
Put them all to sleep. Gave
Yep.
them all those dreams.
So let's go to 28, Paul. So at this point, Gilbert has returned with Jed.
Mm-hmm.
After everything that happened, he's like, here he is. We're
He's in
good.
the trunk.
Yep. All the serial killers have been basically just like shown the error of their ways by Morpheus. They're all just dissipating into the night.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, all right, I found your kid. These guys are gone. Let's move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we get to, Paul, if you can jump to the next one, we get some crazy-ass dreams in that dollhouse.
Yes.
The titular dollhouse where Rose went back. Everyone in that apartment complex that we met earlier are having these wild-ass dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Ken and Barbie here, as we can see. If you jump to the next one, Paul, we see the spinster sisters here
Yeah.
with their crazy spider powers.
Yeah.
And we realize that this is all because Rose herself is what we call, in the biz, a dream vortex.
Yes.
Paul, if you can jump in on me here so I can really sell that point.
Oh.
No, let's back up. One more. A dream vortex. Oh my god. Oh my god. My god. Morpheus needs to get on this.
Well, yeah, apparently in only certain amounts of time, there's only one dream vortex that's allowed to be alive, right?
Per generation?
Yeah,
I don't
is it
know.
a thing? Like,
Yeah.
it didn't really go really heavy into what it actually is. And
It's
it
a
seems-
dream vortex.
It's a dream vortex, but it also is just like, what is that also? And
It's a dream vortex.
and also it's pretty coincidental that it's also you, Rose, that we've been following this
Yeah.
whole story, and
Yep.
a lot of things have been happening to you recently.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of
Probably
interesting
because
things.
of the dream
Probably
vortex.
not because of the vortex.
It's pretty much just, it's an anomaly that Dream is aware of, Morpheus is aware of, and he's like, can't have this happening. Gotta snuff them when they pop up.
It's why he's the man for the job.
Yeah.
It's his duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I really had to fight to protect that booty.
but yeah, that we're all privy to the entire dollhouse's dreams, and we get to see what's going on, like personally in their headspace, and eventually, because she is a vortex, everybody is now swirling together and experiencing all their dreams
Oh my god.
together.
Oh, madness.
Yeah, Barbie and Ken now knowing what they truly feel.
Oh my god.
The Scissor Sisters or whatever.
Yeah.
They're all in on each other's shit. Hal's in this too.
Yeah.
They're all in there.
This is-
Everyone. It's like worldwide. And if she continues to exist, it's gonna essentially like wipe out the universe.
Mhm.
And this is why Morpheus is in charge here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he's got to step up.
Step
This
up to
is
the
duty.
plate. That's
Yeah.
right.
So
To protect the booty.
right. Yes. Booty being existence.
I love that you saw the little smile on my face.
I knew.
Like,
I knew.
can you do it?
Yep. Go on. So he meets up with Rose, and he's like, "I'm sorry, but you're done. You're toast.
Yep. Dead.
I have one job, and it's to eradicate you when this happens."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Could you not?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, no,
Yeah.
I cannot not."
Yes.
Yeah.
It's what I do.
Yep.
But to come to her aid,
Mm.
old Gilbert comes
Fiddler's
back.
Green.
Fiddler's Green comes back and says that he is that Fiddler's
Yep.
Green.
And then Morpheus is like, I'm turning you into a place. And now you're a place.
it's like, take me instead. Take me, Gilbert, Fiddler's Green. I will take that in her stead. And he pretty much accepts that offer, right?
No.
Does he not?
Well, he makes him a place, but
Yes.
he's still out for blood.
Yeah.
It's metaphorical.
Yes.
But there is one person that does come to her aid.
Oh yeah, you're right. Right.
I know I'm right. Dream Lord. Look at the wig. Unity Kincaid
Yes.
actually comes to her aid. In her last dying breath,
Mm-hmm.
she expires on our mortal plane and then materializes in the dream world as a young Unity Kincaid.
Yes.
And she's like, you know what? I was supposed to be the Dream Vortex. I'm sorry. I overslept. But I will shoulder this responsibility. It's not Rose's responsibility. It's mine. And I'll do it. And Dream's like, yeah, all right. I'll kill you instead.
Yeah.
So he does.
Yep.
Yep.
So, Paul, if we could jump to, let's see here, 36. Let's go to 36. Get an image here. There's Unity in her prime, and she's like, I'll do it. This was my destiny, but I overslept. Dream was captured. This wasn't supposed to happen. Everything went awry, but this was my fate, and I'll do it. Let's jump to the next one. So she literally pulls out her own heart
Mm-hmm.
and breaks it and dies in the material world, and that essentially solves everything.
Yeah.
And Dream's like, all right, checks out.
Yep.
Moving on.
That's
Yep.
that.
Yep. Does the old Hellboy hand clap. That's that. And
yeah, but with the end of this, it ties back to that non sequitur beginning of the story that the tribesmen were telling each other with the glass heart.
Mm-hmm.
oh my god.
Yeah.
How did I not catch that?
I
You
don't
son
know,
of a
Dave.
bitch,
And it ties back to that, and it all comes full circle and makes it all make sense on why he even told that story to begin with, because it's passed down through generations,
Mm-hmm.
and there you have it.
My word.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's not finished.
He's not finished.
Oh my God, he's got an asshole sibling to deal with now.
Oh, God.
Boy.
39, Paul. 39, asshole sibling. Code for asshole sibling.
I love
There we
this
go.
because, like, so he kind of confronts destiny or
Desire.
Desire, sorry.
There is a destiny.
There is a
We
destiny.
haven't
So
got to it
he
yet.
comes to Desire, and I just love how he's like, look, I know it was with you. You gotta quit fucking around in my world, all right? Quit playing grab ass in my world. Another inside joke, but yeah, I love that he comes to her and is just extremely blunt to her. You can't do this. Knock it off. If you do it again, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but it's gonna be
It's not gonna be good.
Yeah,
You're not going to like it.
yeah.
And we also find out that Desire was the culprit in raping Unity Kincaid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
So-
good.
Yeah. The father of Rose's mother, I
Yeah.
guess.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean a big old lineage there, but she was behind the whole thing, and just a trick for old Morpheus. Didn't pan out.
No. Golly.
Yeah, bad news bears.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's right here. I can't remember exactly how it all wraps up at the very end here, but
That's it.
That's
That
pretty
wraps
much
up.
it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gives it to her. Oh yeah, that's the very last page. Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
But that's it. That's volume 2 of Sandman,
Mm-hmm.
The Doll's House.
The Doll's House.
So,
Yeah.
right.
Is this the end for Rose? I don't remember. I read it a long time ago. She might come back.
We
Some
shall
characters
see.
might come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you? Is there anything lighting up the chat here?
Should we look at?
I feel like we're more drunk than usual, so
I think maybe you're more drunk than usual.
I have been seeding the earth.
You.
Not that way. I mean, we've been fucking trees.
No,
it's our service.
There is a little further back. It says leader returns in a disastrous fashion down the road. More talk about how the Corinthian is legit creepy. He is.
Yes.
Yep.
Sedgwick goes on to say, serial killer cons selling souvenirs, famous weapon replicas, and body pillows. Do not buy the body pillows.
Right.
The 24-hour diner fan film is brought up again.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
And I forgot to check that out
Yeah.
from last time.
Should we jump to some
But that's
voicemails
it.
real quick?
Yeah, why don't we jump to
Yeah.
some voicemails? Yeah.
All right. Let's do it. Paul, can you cue that up?
Hey Dave, Troy, and Neil. This is Q from Vegas. I'm actually in San Francisco right now, so I'll make it brief. I just wanted to drop in case I missed the live stream. But so this was my second time reading Volume 2 of Sandman. My first time through was a few months back. I read like 5 or 6 volumes in a row, and I got fatigued, kind of like what happened to Dave. I think Dave mentioned that he got burnt out by like the 6th volume. But on my initial read through, I didn't like Volume 2 at all. Like I didn't like how it focused on other people other than Morpheus. But on my second read through, I kind of appreciated it more. I think just because I saw like different details. I still liked the parts where Morpheus was the main character, or Morpheus was in it, but I think the second read through was a little bit better for me. Anyway, good luck with the stream, guys. See ya.
What you're talking about, because I also agree that like Morpheus is such an interesting character, and you want to know more about him.
Yeah, I'm exactly on that point.
And honestly, you know, I'd love to always see more about him, but I think kind of what you hit on your reread too is kind of how I caught it initially. It's like the grander world makes the stuff that Morpheus does more impactful. And I think so when you do see him sparingly, I think it's just so awesome to like actually see like what he's able to do.
Makes himself a presence.
Yeah.
I agree with that whole, because I was going to say, when I was reading a few issues of this, I was like, I don't think Morpheus has showed up at all in this. Because he might even only be like in half this book.
Yeah.
And like, he is a super interesting character. Like, he is the titular Sandman. I want to know more about him, but like, we know now in hindsight that we have this long slew of like adventures to still go on with him, so we'll find out more as we go. But I do get that aspect, like you're looking for more Morpheus in this. But I do feel like when we get him in this, it's worth the wait.
Yeah. 100%.
It's kind of like the Spawn animated series, where you only get a taste of him, but when he comes in, boom!
There he is.
Riveting.
There's a Spawn.
There's a Spawn.
Spawn man's here. All right, let's catch the next voicemail. Thanks, Q.
Hey guys, friend of the show, Nick Garcia here, talking about Sandman Volume 2, issues 9 to 16. And man, this one was a doozy. I thought it was really well written, just for Neil Gaiman's sake of putting some credit where credit's due. And I think some of my favorite issues were definitely Moving In and Men of Good Fortune. And I thought that Gaiman definitely pulled a lot from that first volume of Sandman and kind of reissuing some thoughts that he had in that one, like the issue where they're going through all the dreams of all the housemates, which are all really interesting characters. I felt that was very reminiscent and very clear-cut from the diner issue of last volume. And I think that definitely putting a ride-along character like Rose in helped the story a lot, almost making Sandman a secondary character in its own title. Well, I hope everyone is enjoying DreamStream. I've been having a lot of fun, and thanks for Imperius Rex for hosting our little book club. I'll see you guys later in the DreamStream.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Nick.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like exactly kind of what we were hitting on Q's question earlier. But yeah, spot on kind of what we were thinking throughout the whole thing. Just like the Good Fortunes issue. Awesome stuff. Good writing all around. So yeah, thanks for calling in.
Yeah. Next voicemail.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here it's coming.
Hello, it's me again, Podlord Tynan, your favorite internet ghost. In the month interlude, I posted various things to the Discord, some of them being like video essays and shit like that. And I'd like to pick up on a few of the things that those essays kind of inferred and implied. For example, Strip Paddle Naked's one was about speech bubbles and how unique a decision Dream's speech bubbles are. They're completely unique to everyone else in the story. No one else has black speech bubbles, no one else has globular speech bubbles, and no one else's font is in lowercase. He is completely unique in this. Haas of Strip Paddle Naked posted up his own theory. I won't say what that is in case it muddles any discussion here, but I would like to know what aspects of this story do you find unique in its execution. I personally find the strangely cosmic optimism of it all. A good example is how Sandman, how he battles the demons in hell with that impromptu rap battle, and he says, "Fuck you, I'm Hope." I found that very nice. Dream is less he's a moody doctor. That's how I read Dream. He's a version of the Doctor that's very moody, similar to Peter Capaldi's Doctor or something like that. Another thing I wanted to... Anyways, thank you for listening to me rambling, and have a nice stream, day, night, evening, what have you. Stay safe.
Hey, thanks, Podlord. Appreciate it. I do like the concept on the speech bubbles is very interesting.
Yeah.
It's something I didn't even think about until you said it.
Yeah, because they're all black with the white font and they're lowercase, as he said, which, other than, like, the Ultimate Universe and the Marvel books, I can't think of a whole lot of books that, like, go back and forth in that. All of Dream's stuff is lowercase where everyone else is uppercase.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I don't know what that implies.
On this read more, because I heard a little bit of what he sounds like in the audiobook. I tried to create my own way that I think that Morpheus sounds like in my head.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've nailed it yet, but I pictured it as like this dark, kind of half echoey, like kind of voice, but still booming at the same time. Like it's really weird. It only works in my head.
Have you listened to any of the audiobook? Audible?
I've only listened to snippets of it.
Okay, because James McAvoy, which I wasn't 100% on board for, but like upon hearing it, I really enjoyed it, and he's very aggressive.
Yeah.
Which I did not read Dream as, but like hearing it, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's one thing, but like I always took him as more monotone.
Yeah, that's how I initially read
I read him as like how I read Dr. Manhattan.
Yep.
Yeah.
But in like the Watchmen film, how like passive Billy Crudup encapsulates Dr. Manhattan, I was almost like taken aback by, but I enjoyed it how it actually was presented. So I don't know what all that amounts to, but like. Yeah, I like the aggressiveness of it, but also like just like the, you know what? Fuck it all. Whatever. Like I'm above all this.
Yeah.
And him as like a Doctor Who facsimile, I think is like right on.
Oh, absolutely spot on. And I exactly like a moody kind of like Capaldi. Yeah. But yeah, that's almost spot on because he's got like this weird abstract powers list that you don't know what exactly it is.
Right.
Can potentially just do anything.
He could, he could do anything.
Yeah.
He could work his way out of any situation.
Just dream TARDIS around.
Yeah.
There
Sonic
he goes.
sunglasses.
Yeah. But thanks for the voicemail. Do we have another?
One more. We got one more to round it out.
Let's do it.
Hey guys, it's David Patrick. I just want to know if anybody else is shocked that Ghost Hunter Dave dressed as Morpheus instead of Death.
All right.
That's a great question.
That is a new member of our Patreon group there, and we thank you for joining, David Patrick. Great name.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that I've gone for Morpheus instead of Death. You know what? Death will get her chance.
We haven't seen a whole lot of her yet.
No, just that one issue.
You know, going in, because she is like a super popular character on the con scene to see, like, I just thought she was rampant throughout this series. And so far, it's only like a little bit here, a little bit there, and that's it.
Did you notice in the one-off about Hob that she kind of like appears in the various timelines, but not looking super death-like?
Yeah.
She's just like a random
Just
like
regular.
mermaid or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be cool saying like, oh my god, did you see her there? No? Well, she was.
Yeah,
maybe.
I
I don't know.
did notice that, yeah.
Yeah.
Good little inclusion there, because it was like the game they were playing.
Yeah, but in the Sandman library editions here, or whatever they want to call them, oh, there she is. Yep, right there. That was a gift from a friend of the show, Stephen Vincent. Woo! Look at that. Funko Pop.
Good deal.
But yeah, I believe in Volume 3 of the Sandman Omnibus, it collects the entire Death miniseries as well.
Oh, right.
So I think we might end up getting to that. And you know what? Who knows what the future holds for the wardrobe. But right now, this is easier.
Good deal.
I think that's it for the voicemails today. I guess that kind of wraps us up.
Yeah.
We're a little over time, but not quite as much as we were last time. But we're a lot drunker, or at least I am a lot drunker this time. But hopefully everybody who's tuned in enjoyed this.
Yeah.
It's not a big high-end thing. It's just three dudes with a red Sandman and then drank some beers and talked about it.
That's what you're here
You
for.
could be one of those dudes.
Yeah, that's right.
or gals, but there's not as many.
But yeah, that's going to do it for Volume 2 of Neil Gaiman's Sandman.
Do you have any standout moments? Any favorites?
The bar issue is great.
Yeah.
The Corinthian is great in this.
I think all of it just fits together so well for a second volume.
Yeah. Yeah, just piggybacking off of Volume 1, not even having Morpheus in this a whole lot at all, and you get to flesh out the world a little bit, and just show more of what he's capable of. And, like, having him absent a little bit, I think, helps, so you're not, like, kind of sick of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, it's just all about him.
Yeah. And it's not, and going into this blind, not knowing much about Sandman at all, it's great.
Yeah.
And I like, and I'm really, this volume I actually like more than 1.
My word.
So hopefully it builds trade upon trade, because I'm into this now.
Yeah, I think this is more the path that it takes going on.
Cool.
Is just more like one-offs, you know?
Yeah.
Just
I like that.
these random happenstance that he happens to encounter.
Good
and
deal.
play a little bit of a role in.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining. If you would like to join our Patreon, you are more than welcome to do so. A lot of the voicemails tonight came from patrons themselves, and we can talk about Sandman all day long.
That's
all
right.
All day long.
All day long. Here's a list of some of the supporters of the show, which we, my lord, we appreciate.
Yes. Thanks for contributing so
contribution.
much.
Yeah.
If you would like to buy merch such as I got on right now, we have a Redbubble page if you want to get on top of that.
Yeah.
Right.
We've also got the DreamStream shirts, which I'm sporting right now, and you see a sweet tank.
Oh
on
my
your
God, I
screen
want that
there.
tank.
Get the tank.
Need to get that
But
tank too.
Yeah. See ya, Ash.
Oh no!
Yeah, but we have awesome sweet merch that we're doing. That we have,
He's
for
just-
fuck's sake.
He's meant to be on the ground again.
But yeah, we like to keep it themed to what we're doing. So
Right.
I mean,
That's right. We all have normal day-to-day jobs. This is just something we do for fun. So this just helps out. If you
Yep.
want to support the crew here,
yeah.
it's appreciated.
I'd like to thank Paul for joining us again
Yeah,
on
thank
this
you, Paul.
live stream.
Get cut to Paul.
Cut to Paul.
Paul
can you cut to
Cam.
Paul?
Paul Cam.
Hey!
Oh my God! Finish his drink. Look at that.
Nice.
All right.
Thanks, Paul.
Yep.
Oh my God! You
yeah,
get one
he's
of those
flexing
shirts
more,
too?
flexing
Oh
more.
my God.
Oh my God.
So yeah, if you stuck with us this long, there's a whole lot more to come.
Yeah.
We're doing the whole Sandman thing, unless this completely bottoms out and just kills our channel, which who knows, maybe it will, but like, you know, we haven't read Sandman all the way through, so let's just fucking do it.
Yeah. We're excited to continue on though. It's looking good. The train still on a rolling, baby.
That's right. So join us next month when we dive into Volume 3
Oh my
of Neil
God.
Gaiman's Sandman. But until then, I have been Troy to the Max Extreme.
Ghost Hunter Dave.
Dinosaur Neil.
And we have been Imperius Rex. Thanks for joining the Dream Stream, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.